if he walked in here right now, they would hug him and offer him tea and crumpets. Hi, Michael. I haven't seen you in so long. But my husband, who has never given anyone a reason to think ill of him, is now the target.
Hi cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching the Real Housewives of Potomac recap review. This is season 7, episode 3, Stand in Your Truth. Let's go ahead and get started on this. We start off by seeing Candace, and Candace is wanting to speak with the producer. His name is Eric, and she is questioning him about what is going on. Why is Giselle bringing this up to her in regards to Chris? And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I didn't like the energy that Eric was giving.
If it's going to be about maligning my husband, you don't want me here. I will not have it.
Why are you telling me?
Because I know that you know what's going on.
I don't control what they say or do any more than I can control what you say and do.
He was just like, why are you telling me about this? I mean, it was very rude. It was dismissive. And he knew I feel like he knew exactly why, Giselle, why Candace was bringing this up to him, because she felt like she was being set up, that her marriage was being attacked. Very similar to what we've seen happen with other housewives, only this time, I don't know. This one, it felt very uncomfortable for me. I didn't like it at all. And I commend Candace for getting up and walking out, because the narrative is that she stormed out. Candace did not storm out. She was cool, calm, and collected. She told them exactly what it was, exactly how she felt about it. And she let them know, y'all know the stories that go on. You're not about to play with my marriage. So
because the alternative is Giselle gets the ra-ta-ta-ta one. I ain't giving y'all that. I'm sorry. I'm on a yoga mat. I got things to do and to move. Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles. We don't have it.
Not do it. And she leaves. And so all of the ladies are like, did Candace leave? Candace left? And then they just kept on going. I said, well, so dang, nobody gonna get up and check on her. Nobody's gonna see what's going on. Because, the ladies are good for that, running after someone, getting all the information. But they kept on going like nothing was going on. So we see all of the ladies sitting down and they're talking, and Wendy and Ashley, they're all in the room, but I'm just going to break out. Wendy and Ashley start talking, right? And Wendy says that she's, trying to do this business. She wants to open a Nigerian restaurant or nightclub or something along that lines, some kind of restaurant bar. And Ashley said, how does your husband feel about that? Because she said, well, I would only be 20% owner. I wouldn't be a full-time owner. So because I would only be 20%, I wouldn't have to live at the restaurant, because that's what people were saying. They were like, you're going to be super busy. When you open up a restaurant, you have to pretty much be there all the time. But because she's going in business with Peter Thomas, is it Thomas? But she's going into business with Peter, Cynthia's ex-husband. She feels like, no, he would take on the majority of it. She said, but it is, it's $300,000 that she would have to do. And they were like, Ashley's just like, how would your husband feel? And she says, Eddie's telling her, you got enough on your plate. You can't handle all of the stuff you have on your plate now. And you're trying to don't add anything else until you can handle what you have on there now. And I am in 100% agreement with him. So then, again, all of the ladies are still together, and then we have another conversation break out, which is just Mia confused on why Giselle came for her. And so they said, I think y'all need to talk separately. So Giselle and Mia take some cupcakes, and they go and have a conversation separately. And when they do this, Mia just I was surprised it came for you. I was surprised you were the one who was like, oh my gosh, you don't believe that I had cancer. You thought I was doing it for clout. You thought I was just wanting attention. She was like, I wouldn't do that to want attention. She said, I expected that from, this girl said, New Booty Wendy. I said, Mia. But yeah, she said, I expected that from New Booty Wendy, but not you, Giselle. And so Giselle, what else could she do but say, what, you're right. That's my bad. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. And, Mia's just like, okay. And they're cool.
My delivery was horrible. It was. The type of friend that I am, if you have a concern, just bring it to me. Don't bring it all the way around Mayberry Bush. Duly noted. If I think something's weird, with me. Right. But I'm sorry.
It's over. They're cool about all of it, and everything. So they're going to move their relationship on. Now, while this is going on, they're listening at the front, and they can hear an argument going on. And the argument is between Wendy and Robin. And they get into this argument, y'all, because when Wendy and Robin get into this argument, because I don't know, it's just bad beef between them. It goes all the way back to the last season for these two, when Wendy because Wendy had an argument with Giselle because she didn't like the rumors Giselle was spreading about her husband. And Robin felt like she had to be the one to jump in and say something about it to defend Giselle. And so it just caused this bad blood between them. And they both said things that they shouldn't have said. But at the end of the day, when Robin was just like, Winnie, you were trying to accuse me, but you didn't say my name, but you were saying my name. You were meaning me without saying my name about, I was the one who was talking about Mia lying. And Wendy says, I never said that. I was just trying to get clarification. And to me, what I saw Wendy just being like, so who said it? She was asking me like, who said it? She wasn't asking her as in like she wasn't accusing them or saying anything. She was just trying to clarify. Okay, so what's going on? You know how someone's telling you a story and you're like, okay, so now tell me who said this. That's all Wendy was doing to me. That's how I saw it. Robin didn't see it that way. She felt like they've all said something. They've all had thoughts. And Wendy said, the difference between us is I didn't say it. You said it, not me. So if you're going to say something, you need to stand 10 toes down. And so they start going back and forth and everything. And then Robin starts getting up like, I'm standing 10 toes down. You know what? Robin is very aggressive. And nobody ever says that about her. And I think that's the whole thing with the colorist thing. And I know people don't like to talk about it, but it like that. When certain women of a certain skin tone stand up or are more rowdy, people don't look at that as being aggressive. But if you have a brown girl or a darker skin tone girl do the same things, people automatically see that as, oh, she's so ghetto. Oh, she's so hood. Oh, she's so aggressive. And Robin has showed that she can be just that way as well, but people don't put that on her. So anyways, they agree. They just stop. They just stop arguing because Giselle, Mia, and all them come out there and the conversation just moves on as quickly. I don't know if that was editing, but so the conversation moves on and they're all just sitting there talking about, are you two cool? And they say, yeah, we're cool now. And so then they start talking about spring break. And Robin says, oh, my boys are out on spring break. And she starts going around the room asking people, were their children out on spring break? And they were saying yes. And Wendy, she said, I want to have like a fun day. And Wendy was like, oh. And they were like, wait, is Wendy not invited? And Robin was not inviting Wendy. And Wendy was like, oh, wait, I'm not invited? And see, Wendy, you just got into it with this woman. So if she didn't invite me and she personally didn't say my name after you went around and talked to everybody, I'm going to take it as it is that you're not inviting me and you're just a petty shrew and you're not going to invite me. Okay, cool. I don't want to come to your little thing. If it was just the ladies doing something, that's cool. I think it was petty of Robin to do that, especially when it involved kids. It involved children getting to know each other. And I don't know, that like the other children could find out that, we weren't invited to that. Everyone had this, but we weren't invited to that. And I thought it was petty and nobody called her out on it though. They just kind of laughed that off like, oh, dang, you're not inviting her. And she was like, and Wendy said that just shows her character.
For me, kids is where I draw the line. So I think it's a character flaw if someone is inviting people's kids and purposely doesn't invite your children. But that's fine.
You call me a horrible person. I don't care. I'm not opening my mouth to ask her one question about her kids' availability.
And she says, I don't care what you think about me. And they moved on, child. So let's move on. So then we see Candace, and she's having trouble with her fertility. She wants to have a child, and she's having to give herself shots. But the doctor says it's not going as smoothly as they would like it to go. So Chris is at work, so he can't help her. But everything, she's starting to get worried because everything is not going as well as she would have liked, or the doctors would have liked. But I do hope everything works out for her on that. So then we see Ray as well as Karen. They go and get their, manicures, pedicures, I believe. And so while they're out and about, the conversation comes up about them and eye candy, and be it like Karen says, we're allowed to have eye candy, which we're allowed to look at other people. That's totally fine. It's perfectly okay. It was a lot of insinuation about like what was candy to them, but I watched Robin's Real Housewives of Potomac review, and she meant eye candy. They might not have said eye in the end when he said just keep it as candy. They might not have said eye candy, but that's exactly what they meant. They have a policy where you can look but you can't touch. And I mean, some people do that. I personally don't like that because I feel like it starts by you looking. It starts by you looking, and you might have a conversation. No, I don't like it, but they've been married 6 years. Whatever works for them, works for them. Let's move on. So then we see Ashley and her brother. They're going house shopping, right? So y'all know she's buying a house, and Michael is helping her. He's taking care of the finances of everything. And so she's saying, oh, well, Michael doesn't really want people to know we're getting divorced because he says it's going to hurt us as far as when we're buying. And also she said she can't afford to do this, live in this house on her own, like purchase this house on her own. And they keep getting underbid they outbid when it comes to homes because he doesn't want to do cash. He does not want to do cash, and they'll bid on a home, but someone else will do a cash offer. And of course, cash is king. So she's looking around. She likes the home. She's talking to the realtor, and she says, since Michael and I are separated, and the realtor said, oh no, we got the finances and lender and everything. They already know about it. Y'all are not going to be living here together and everything. And so they talked to Ashley, and they said, how do you feel when Michael said he wanted to keep that private, but he spoke to the realtor and he's made it very, he told them it's okay. He's really lying about the finances.
Natalie says everything with the lender and the bank is all set, and you seem a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. Saying that buying a home is contingent on our marital status it makes me look a little sideways.
So at this point, it's like, does he not want to get the home? Does he not want to spend as much as he's saying he wants to? What is the deal? What's the story behind this? And so Ashley's upset about it, but she says she just can't dwell on it. Girl, you got to. Like, what? How are you gonna you need to speak to this man. And I've been hearing that, like, her prenup, it was a lot of stuff in there that she did. Well, she said there was a lot of stuff in there that she didn't know. But I've been hearing like she's having a hard time with that. So I don't know. So she was talking to her brother, and because of the finances and everything that's going on, she's just questioning, is she making the right decision by leaving Mike? Are they making the right decision by getting divorced? And I said, you're only saying that because you don't have the money. Like, if you have money, I don't think that would be your question. But I don't know. And maybe she needs to live. I don't know, y'all. I feel like sometimes people live above their means, especially when it comes to housewives. Like, what's wrong with her just getting a nice studio home close to a park where she could take the children to the park. Because they do that. They take the children out anyways. What's wrong with that? Until she can get her own money up and she won't have to depend on Michael and get what she wants. Do you get what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm not in it. Let's move on. So then we see Juan and Robin. Child, I'm not going to hold you. Robin asks Juan to sign his prenup. And he says, really? He said, because I remember when I gave you a prenup, it was a what? Oh my gosh, it was a big thing. And she said, but she wants him to sign it because she has businesses. And she says their prenup didn't matter in the end because they didn't have any money. Well, y'all ain't had no money because of you. Y'all didn't have no money because of you. So some people said they don't think, it's fine. She could sign. Some people said they think it's fine that she's asking him to sign a prenup. I personally am like, I don't know. I don't know. You were the one who lost the money. You know what I mean? You were the one who lost the money, and now you want this man to sign. And he says, I make more money than you.
I make more money than you anyway.
I mean, you know how men are. That's not even what it's about.
Why didn't it come up years ago?
Oh, you mean when we got married the first time?
Why didn't you bring it up the first time? And then when the dad bring it up, you was like, huh? I remember that day at the restaurant. You was like, what? Huh? Sign a prenup.
And she's like, he didn't say that. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he makes more money than her or not, but either way, he's just like, he's insulted by it, I guess. I don't even know why they doing all this prenup. They know they're not about to get married. Let's move on because Wendy is losing her hair. Now, when you have children, there are a lot of stuff that can go wrong with your body because the child that you're carrying is taking all of the nutrients. And so that's why they have you taking prenatal vitamins. I know when I was having my daughter, I had to take prenatal vitamins. I had to take iron tablets. Like I was taking so many vitamins but I was also eating a lot of fruit. I ate a lot of vegetables. Like I was trying to eat better and all of that because you have I heard stories about, teeth falling out, you losing your hair, all these different stories. And luckily that didn't happen to me. And I think one of the reasons why is because I got really on a health kick with her. So that's might have been one of the reasons. But either way, this happens. This is a natural, normal thing that a lot of women don't talk about. Like we're just hearing women really start talking about why this is, because before it was like no one ever knew about it. And even now, a lot of people they're surprised when they hear this. So she goes to a doctor and she shows, her scalp. It was a very brave moment of her. She shows her scalp. She's losing a lot of hair after she had her last child. And so they're going to work on a treatment for her. Now they said this treatment right here is cheap, and she was like, what's the but? And I'm like, you grow a beard. And she was like, oh no. And the doctor was right, girl, you could afford laser treatment. You'll be all right. And so she was like, okay. So then we see Robin and Mia meet up for lunch. Oh, Lord. So Robin wants to get to the bottom of this story. And y'all, I'm one of those people who does not care. Like if somebody's lying, I'm just like, okay. Like if you want to lie or whatever, it is what it is. I'm just like, okay. And I remember, Wendy and Robin got into it because Wendy kept saying, I never said she was lying. But I thought it was funny that the producers caught Wendy while she was still had a hot mic on and asked her about me. And she was like, everybody knows she's lying. But I think it's two different things. Like you can know someone's lying, but not say it in front of the ladies. And I think that's what Wendy was saying. Like, I'm not saying it on camera that she's lying. That's crazy. But I think there was shady on the producer's part to catch her like that. And I 100% think they did it on purpose. But getting to Mia and Robin, they're sitting down and Robin wants to know what's going on because she said, you're posting these messages. And I don't think it's I think someone can tell you, hey, I'm having this cancer scare. And when they're ready to update you, they update with you when they're ready. I don't think you're old information. And that's how it came off to me from Robin. Like she felt like, well, since you posted it, you have to keep us updated. You have to keep updating people because what you're saying isn't what your message was. And she was like, I posted that like 3 weeks ago. That there's things that have have happened since then. I've had a biopsy and everything. And then she said she got a lump on her behind. And I said, so is it a boil? You got a cyst? I don't care if the girl was lying or not. She said she's cancer free now. She said she didn't have it. They were concerned, but she doesn't have it. And I don't know. I don't think she would. I don't know. You have to. I don't know. I don't see her doing it for attention. I don't know. She might have, but I don't know. I guess I'm not judging. I'm not judging. If you did that and it was for attention, then you did it for attention. So anyways, they continue to talk, and Mia explains everything to Robin, and Robin says, I feel like this just blew up in her face, that she really, didn't expect people to latch on and give her this much attention and want to follow the timeline and everything. But it is what it is. So they decide to move on from that. So then they start talking about everything that went on with Candace. And they said Candace stormed out. And I said, why do y'all keep saying she stormed out? Candace walked out. Like she walked out like you would walk out a building. If you didn't know anything was going on, you would have thought she just walked out of the building because she didn't seem upset. She said what she had to say and she left. But they said she stormed out, and they were like, because Robin because Ashley had said that Chris slid in her DMs and he was asking her what you doing and all that. And I don't believe it. I honestly, when I saw the message, I felt this exact same way as Robin, as far as that is not sliding in your DMs, ma'am. He replied to your story, and he is a rooftop manager. He's a manager at the W, the rooftop general manager. So he was just telling you to come because you could have came to his spot. Like, I don't get it. It would have brought more. It would have been business for his spot. So I don't know. I feel like Ashley was making that more than what it was. The same with Giselle. I'm gonna be honest. I feel the same with Giselle. But here go Mia talking about I have a story to tell too. And Robin's like, oh my gosh, you too? And she said, well, he was staring at me.
Go, baby. Go, Jordan. It was awkward. You don't stare at someone. And I kept catching it. Go, Karen. I'm taking it. So maybe there is some truth to it.
Like when we were at that event, he just stared at me. I could see it out of my side eye, and every time he was just staring at me. It was just so weird. Like, that's so rude. No manners. And why are you just looking? I'm uncomfortable. And did y'all see where she admitted that he didn't do that? Mia lied. She lied on Chris. He did not do that, and she admitted he didn't do that and everything, and she said she was sorry about that. But I don't know. Why are y'all lying for stories? Why are y'all lying for a storyline? It's weird, and you should be fired for that. So then we go to Karen and Giselle. So she goes over to Karen's house, and Karen says, you got to take off your shoes, girl, in this white carpet. Even though Karen didn't take off her shoes, but I mean, I guess she's like, my shoes ain't been outside. So she goes and she does her, she goes and visits her, and Karen says, I heard something happen at the, Ashley's little event. And she said, yeah, let me tell you. And so she starts telling Karen, her story about with Chris and how she tried to tell Candace, and Candace got upset and everything. So when she was telling Karen what happened, Giselle, Karen was like, oh gosh, he owes you an apology. It sounds like he made you uncomfortable and he might have overstepped the line. He owes you an apology because maybe he doesn't know that you're not as comfortable with him as he is with you. And I said, but wouldn't it be on Giselle to tell him that? Like, if she says he sends her DMs and, says hi and does all those things, at what point do we put it on you to tell him, hey, I'm not really comfortable with you sending this? If he's sending it and you keep replying back to it, then when will they ever know that you don't like that? And so Karen was asking her questions because she said, okay, he came in my hotel room and it was nobody there and I wasn't comfortable. She said, he asked to talk to me and then he said, can I come to your room? And I said, yes. And then my glam squad, I thought they were still there, but they weren't there. And she said, so then what happened? He was complaining about his wife. She said, but then Karen's like, did he touch you? No. Did he say anything inappropriate? No. And she said, and I just felt so uncomfortable that I asked him to leave. She said, well, what happened when you asked him to leave? He left. And so Karen was like, well, see, there you go. Because she said, I had an experience with the husband, one of the house husbands 3 years ago. And it made me uncomfortable. And she said, so he hugged me and I guess he hugged her too tight and too hard. So she was uncomfortable with that. But at the end of the day, it was fine because she went to her husband, she went to her preacher, and they handled the situation behind closed doors. She said, maybe Candace, feels a certain way because you didn't handle this behind closed doors. Like, Chris. And she says, I just felt uncomfortable. And she was like, yeah, that's probably true. And she said, but it's been 7 days. And I was thinking that Candace was going to hit me back and say Chris had an apology or something. I said, girl, the man's not going to apologize for something he doesn't feel he did. So then we go to Chris and Candace, and they are upset because he says, I'm not the one to make anyone feel uncomfortable. He said what happened was he was upset, and I guess he did ask Giselle, can I talk to you? And she said, let's go to my room. He said, we went to her room. The glam team was not there. So he says, to feel more comfortable, we could leave this door open because I don't need any rumors. And she said, yeah, you're right. I don't need any rumors and all that. And he said nothing happened. And so he was like, so I don't know why she would feel uncomfortable. And then he brought up the fact that she always referenced his penis. And then they showed clips. Oh my gosh. Did y'all see where they said when Mia was saying that Chris was looking at her, and they had all those times that they were at the party and Mia was loud and not making a scene, but she was loud and enjoying herself, and Chris could have looked at her and he didn't, and they said Chris not looking at Mia. And then they had another clip, Chris still not looking at Mia. I said, now y'all know y'all not right for that. But anyways, he just said it was nothing. And if she felt uncomfortable, their whole issue with this is that if she felt uncomfortable, why did she wait to get on the cameras and bring this all up? That's the issue that they're having. Like, it's been months since we filmed, and now all of a sudden you want to bring it up. So then Robin comes, because they were at the restaurant, and Robin comes and their energy is like, And she said, She tells Chris, you get up and give me a hug. And so he gives her a hug, and she gives Candace a hug, and she sits down. She said, we're going to work this out. She said, now listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Ashley said that you slid in her DMs, and I told her, no, he didn't. He works there. He's trying to promote the club and everything. And they were like, he said, yes, I was not sliding in her DMs.
Who are you at the W with? Not your wife.
He's the general manager at the rooftop.
Oh, he is?
Yes. Let's make it clear. You didn't slide in her DM. You responded to a story.
Right.
Right? That's the difference.
Exactly. I didn't search and DM and
right.
And she said, Giselle brought this up now because she said she felt triggered by what Ashley had said. And so that's why she brought this up, because she felt uncomfortable. She said, now she told me that night when they had I guess they sent them in the van to go home. She said, she told me about it that night. And I said, Robin didn't think it was a big deal. She said, girl, no, Chris is Chris. He wasn't trying to do nothing to you. And I said, Giselle, do you really think Chris would have made a pass at you, a housewife who works on the same show as his wife, knowing how messy you are? I don't see it. And that's why, honestly, I don't believe Giselle. I do not. And then hearing Robin talk, because Robin stands Giselle 10 toes down, and hearing her speak on it, and she doesn't even believe it. She says this is hard for her because Giselle is her girl, but she don't believe this. And then we go back to Karen, and she's asking Giselle, why did you not go to them in private? And she says, well, it wasn't actually me. It was Robin who let it go, who let it out. And she said, well, what is your feelings about that? And she said, I haven't got to speak to Robin about this. But Giselle tells everybody business, like, you're the one who told about Juan's name not being on the deed or whatever. I mean, I don't know. They say it's a crack between this friendship, and it really does look like it. But I don't know if it's so much as a crack or it's just Robin being her actual self now. She's not stuck up all in Giselle's butt anymore. Like, she has her own, because this was a great episode for Robin. If you're a Robin fan, you love this episode because she was all over it and it was entertaining. But Candace and Robin continue to talk to Chris, and Candace just lets her know, I'm upset with how all of this went down. I feel like she's coming from my marriage, and we're not doing that. You're not going to come from my husband this way. And the level of disrespect that they really do show Chris is completely outrageous. Like, they talk about him about his, he doesn't have a job. Then it was, he works too much. He's our manager, but he has to work. It's always something about Chris. But this, what Giselle is doing right now, I feel like, and Ashley too, because I'm not leaving her out of it. You know, that man wasn't trying to slide in your DMs. I feel like they're reaching for some type of storyline with him, but this is a dangerous storyline, and I'm not really with this one because that he has a family, and those are serious accusations that you're trying to put on him, that he made you feel uncomfortable. And it's like, what are you trying to say when you say that? How were you uncomfortable? What are you trying to say? What do you think he was trying to do? What, you're gonna have to elaborate on that. You can't just throw that out and then go about your day, because that messed his day up. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. If I missed anything, I'm truly sorry. Y'all know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for an all new episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Goodbye.